The world is in shock by a recent report on Uyghurs, which reveals systematic mass rape, sexual abuse, and torture in Xinjiang. BBC exposed rare first-hand accounts from these so-called re-education camps, which are basically internment camps for torture of minorities. Numerous former detainees and guards have also confirmed the evidences of organized system of mass rape, sexual abuse and torture. Tursuneh Ziauddin, now living in exile in the US, a Uyghur woman, told BBC that women were removed from the cells every night and raped by one or more masked Han Chinese men. She said she was tortured and later gang raped on 3 occasions, each time by 2 or 3 men. Gulzira Aul Khan, a Kazakh woman from Xinjiang's camp system, revealed that she was forced to systematically remove the clothes of women detainees above the waist and handcuff them so that they cannot move, so that the police and even Han Chinese civilians introduced from the outside into the camp could pay money to have their pick of the prettiest young inmate to rape her. Kelbinur Sadik, an ethnic Uzbek woman who worked as a Chinese language teacher in the camp, was told by a policewoman that rape has become a culture and that these women are also electrocuted. Gulbahar Haitivaji, a Uyghur refugee in France, has published a book titled Survivor of the Chinese Gulag on January 13th. Originally written in French, the book details her harrowing 3 years in the Chinese re-education camps. Here is her gut-wrenching story. Born in 1966 in China's Xinjiang, Gulbahar was an engineer who in early 2000s moved out of China with her family as they could no longer stand the discrimination against the Uyghurs and nil professional prospects. The family finally settled in France. However, in November 2016, her entire life turned upside down as she received a call from her former Chinese employer summoning her to Xinjiang to sign some official documents required for her retirement. She sensed that exiled Uyghurs were being watched and CCP was cracking down on them. But as the Chinese employer insisted, she traveled to China against the bad feeling she had. It indeed was a trap. Shortly after arriving, Gulbahar was arrested because her daughter Gulhumar posed in a picture with a banned miniature flag of Xinjiang, as she took part in a demonstration against Chinese repression of Uyghur Muslims. What followed was a nightmare. Haitivaji was locked away in a cell, cut off from her family, abused and treated like a criminal. In June 2017, the authorities transferred her to a re-education center, where in the name of eradicating Islamist terrorism, Uyghurs are tortured. As per Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch, more than 1 million Uyghurs are held up in these camps. They are interrogated, tortured, brainwashed, forcefully sterilized, prohibited from speaking their native language, surveilled through cameras, even in toilets, forcefully taught Chinese history and declarations praising President Xi Jinping. Gulbahar was kept hungry and forced to partake in exhausting military training. In November 2018, 2 long years after her arrest and at the end of a 9-minute summary trial, Gulbahar was sentenced to 7 years in prison. In February 2019, her daughter Gulhumar spoke out publicly, making her first appeal for justice. After a long fight and diplomatic intervention from the French Foreign Ministry, in August 2019, Gulbahar was pronounced innocent and allowed to leave Xinjiang. Gulbahar is a hero as she has chosen to speak out openly despite the danger to her, her family and relatives who still live in China. She is now on a mission to be the voice of all the people under the brutal weight of oppression of CCP's China.